Hey, what's going on, Fight Family? Contemplate Boxing. I want to contemplate on some things. I know a lot of other fight fans and maybe some fighters and trainers have already commented on what I'm about to comment on. But before I go forward, I want to read a list of names to you. Some of these names may be recognizable. Uh, Daniel Marshall, Frankie Campbell, Ernie Schaff, Peter Acero, Jimmy Doyle, Sam Barodi, Archie Kemp, Laverne Roach, Sonny Boy West, Ed Sanders, Benny Paret, Davey Moore, Ulrich Regis, Mike Pinkney, Angelo Jacopucci, Willie Clayson, Charles Newell, Cleveland Denny, Johnny Owen, Andy Balaba, Young Ali, Kim Duk-Koo, Francisco Bejinas, Sean Thomas, Jacob Marake, Gerardo Derbez, Steve Watt, Jean-Claude Vinci, Brian Baronet, Daniel Thetele, David Theo, Pat Stone, Patrick Medencio, Clive Sequebu, Minoru Katsumata, Bradley Stone, Robert Wangila, Jimmy Garcia, James Murray, Felix Buela, Randy Carver, Pedro Alcazar, Brad Roan, Martin Sanchez, Lavander Johnson, Kevin Payne, Lito Cisnorio, Troy Sam, Daniel Aguillon, Benjamin Flores, Marco Antonio Nazareth, Francisco Rodriguez, Roman Simakov, Mohamed Afrizal, Bae Ki Suk, Michael Norgrove, Francisco Leal, Mike Towell, David Whittam, Tim Haig, Scott Westgarth, and Christian Daggio. These are names that were listed from 1926 up to 2018. These are boxers who died in the ring or died due to injuries sustained in fights that they participated in. Boxing is a serious sport. This is a serious combat sport, and there are a lot of fighters that actually die in this sport to entertain the fans. So it's not really a laughing matter. It's a very serious matter when fighters get either permanently injured, face irreparable damage, or unfortunately, lose their lives in the ring or shortly after leaving the ring. There was an article by The Independent that was written back in 1995, and at that time, they had estimated that 500 fighters had actually died since Marquess of Queensberry rules had actually been introduced back in 1884, I believe it was. And this is serious. The reason why I actually bring any of this up is in light of statements that, our heavyweight champion here in the U.S., Deontay Wilder, had made previously about wanting to catch a body on his resume. And he seems to have repeated these statements in the build-up to his fight against Dominic Breazele. These are serious statements. And I don't believe, such things, such wishes, to do irreparable damage or irreparable harm to another fighter or to take another fighter's life, to purposely want to do that, belongs in the sport. I don't believe it's good sportsmanship. I don't believe it's good for anything. Even if we're talking about building up a fight. Even back in the day when Mike Tyson was going into one of his fights in a rematch and he said, if he's not dead, it doesn't count. These are statements that don't belong in our sport, and I don't think it does anything good for our sport. I do think that it's a bit hypocritical when we as fans, we look at fighters that test positive for PEDs. For instance, Big Baby Miller recently popped hot for 3 different PED drugs. And you had a lot of different fans and a lot of different trainers that really lambasted Big Baby Miller and said, hey, when somebody does that purposely, they're injecting these things in their bodies purposely, to go into a ring in a sport in which fighters die and they purposely take these substances. They're really looking to hurt the individual that they're competing against. They're looking to do irreparable damage, or they're looking to do, life-ending harm. And we criticize those fighters that take these PEDs, but never say that that's what their intention is. But we pretty much connect the dots. But then when we have a fighter or fighters that actually state that that's what they want to do, for some reason we as fans and some of the trainers and fighters go quiet. And I don't think that just in the same way, when we connect the dots and we make the assumption that PED users are going out to do that to cause irreparable harm or serious damage to their opponent, I don't think in the same way that we speak out against those fighters, I don't think we should not speak out whenever there are fighters that actually state that that's what they're looking to do. I don't think these are good statements that Deontay Wilder made. Best of luck to both Deontay Wilder and Dominic Breazele in their career. But that's definitely something that I had to speak out on. In the same way that, I criticize fighters that pop hot on their PED tests, because they are in a sport in which fighters die and are seriously injured, and they purposely take these substances to go in and possibly do irreparable harm to a fighter. I'm going to criticize these fighters that actually state that they're looking to do irreparable harm to their opponent, whether they're on PEDs or not, because this is a sport. A lot of fans, a lot of us say, hey, this is a business. Well, that's not good business. If you want to look at it like that, that is not good business. When you have a competitor actually aiming to kill another competitor, it's not good business, and it's not just good for humanity, period. So I hope everybody enjoys the fights tomorrow. May the best man win, and I hope nothing too serious comes from that. But, definitely, if you get a chance, go ahead, check out Deontay Wilder versus Dominic Breazele, championship fight. Again, all the best to both fighters, and I definitely hope and pray that both fighters come out safely, still come out with their wits about them and, with their health. In the meantime, hey, hope everybody enjoys the future fights. You all take care, and God bless.